No, let's start there though.
Yeah.
Ye announces that he's running um, for president. I we often get confused as like the Ye stands and the defenders of all things Ye. I just I just genuinely don't give a shit. Like I'm completely out on the concept of politics. Um, I'm completely out on the world because it's not even an American thing anymore. I'm completely out on our collective affinity for celebrity. Um, so at that rate, those two things combined, I genuinely just don't give a shit about G. Like
True.
I don't care. So it's not no defender of yay shit or have nothing bad to say. It's just like giving somebody um the genius of people like that is leveraging our collective emotions, right? And so
Completely. Also, I think the America has so much blood on it. I don't want to hear anything about Kanye.
then thank you. You said it way better than me.
I don't want
There's
to hear
so much
nothing
blood
about
on the
Kanye.
hands of America and Americans. You talking to me about yay and some sneakers, my nigga? Like, fuck out of here. Like, there are other conversations I'd prefer to have,
Yeah.
and
But the moves that he's making isn't far fetched from the shit that's already taken place here. You know what I mean?
absolutely
Like, he's putting flair on it
that part.
because we do that. You know what I mean? That's natural within our blood is that we put flair on things.
Sicko.
But it's just a matter of I'm not about to condemn him for what he's doing
Facts.
and then just look away at what America has done to this point.
Yeah.
I was trying to light on everything that America has done to this point, and Kanye can work and do whatever the fuck he wants to do and continue to elevate the fuck out of our people
Yeah.
because that's what he's doing, to tell you the truth. Like
Yeah.
he's going about it in his own way, but if it's elevation, I'm fucking with it.
Yeah.
By any means too. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I think that's the greater point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it sort of sums up what my points are.
Mm-hmm.
The collective blood that is on this country's hands, and the uh, in alignment with our affinity for celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
that conversation dominates the real work that's being had, that's being done, or that should be done.
Completely.
It's just like this just strange sort of distraction and way to like bury your head in the sand and not have to address the things that are really fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I always find it really confusing when,
Low hanging fruit.
yeah, the low hanging fruit, when really big outlets just go, because immediately every publication started covering it. And it's the reason someone like Donald Trump can become president, because our collective affinity for toxic shit,
And
uh,
his marketing genius.
and his marketing genius that people refuse to acknowledge. Salute my brother Kevin Allen, but he was at the actual Sacramento show when Ye went crazy, and they hospitalized him that night before for his Trump rant. And Kevin's point was like, "Yo, the version of that rant that everybody gets to see is not it in totality."
Mm.
He was like, the larger point that Ye was making is like, "Hey, I didn't vote, but if I would have, it would have been for bruh because of the marketing genius." And he's like, I want to study and understand how someone can garner that much that much marketing and support for his brand. Like that's I don't know how that's not a how we can't sort of isolate that thought and that point and just explore that, because there's something there, right?
Well, it's compartmentalization,
Yeah.
and we don't. It's something that it's not. That's not an easy thing to do. So I'm not gonna say like people should be able to compartmentalize what you're hearing and stuff like that, and from certain people and stuff like that. That's not an easy thing to do. Because it has to, you have to take yourself out of the equation
Hmm.
and just see things for bare bones, what you want out of it.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to use entities for that, and and sometimes it's going to be people that you don't agree with everything that they say,
Yeah.
but there is something intriguing by like how it's being presented to you, and how big of a following it has.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah.
So you just kind of nitpick it. You know what I mean? But you can't just shun it away and just just automatically just write it off as fodder and BS and stuff like that, and not try to learn the entity. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you have to pick up on some of those things.
Yeah.
But you have to be conscious enough to pay attention to it.
Absolutely. No, I
In my book, I'm sorry.
No, that's
it sounds nuts, but then again, we got to be nuts. Bro.
Absolutely, it does not though, and I think the oh fuck, I skipped a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll get back to it, but I want to stay in this because you're making some really really great points, G. I don't know if I've ever thought about it as something that isn't easy to do. Um, I do understand that it's an essential to success, and again, success, the spectrum of success is vast, so it isn't determined by money, accumulating monetary things. Success, the spectrum of success is vast, so that's what I'm talking about is a form of liberation and a form of like spiritual freedom when I talk about success for me personally. And it feels like, because I don't want to just lock this in, but it feels like in order to obtain that, you got to be able to compartmentalize.
Completely.
And this idea that you don't have to do shit you don't want to do, you don't have to interact with people you don't fuck with.
Shit.
It's just it's mind-boggling to me in the nerve of motherfuckers to think that they can curate this sort of challenge-free world. It's strange, bruh. Like, even as we watch everything that's happened with the quarantine and with COVID, and watch the people who are upset and what they're upset about, and it's like, fam, you've never faced any adversity, my nigga. Take your ass home. Wear your mask to the store, wherever you going, and take your ass home. How hard is that? But if you ain't never been through shit, okay. So now we're having a different discussion.
Completely.
Ideas of racism and oppression in the workplace and in the work fields, and I'm sorry, bruh. Like, I don't know. I just don't expect motherfuckers who have never fucked with me and have never given me anything to start giving me shit because all of a sudden you think they give a fuck. I keep telling y'all, quit confusing the advancement of the LGBT community with the advancement of black people. That ain't the same thing, bro. And people get mad when I say that shit, but it's not. Go look at who the CEOs of tech in Silicon Valley. Go look at who they are and what they identify as, and how much money they're responsible for, and then you'll be able to track down why that particular group has had so much advancement and received so much support. It's not that hard, and it's not that secular. I'm not saying nothing wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about any group. I'm just pointing out the facts. So when we talk about when we scale it all the way back, and we go back to Ye's breakdown in Sacramento and what he actually said, and I wasn't there, you weren't there, but I remember us having that discussion, and that's exactly what we sort of went like, it's regardless of how you feel about 45, the mark, $500 million in free marketing is $500 million in free marketing, my nigga. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do, what you did. We got to explore why something like that can take place in order to combat it. For us not to combat it and not explore it, it would just be silly to think that it's something we could overthrow if we don't understand it. I for the life of me, I don't know why that's so hard to grasp. And with Ye, he makes that statement, and then if we look at let's take the last 24 months of him and his brand, what he's been able to accomplish, completely detaching himself of the thing that seemed to plague him early in his career. I don't know if anybody's thinking about it like that. Emotional, Ye. Take the mic from Taylor Swift, Ye. Jesus Walks, Ye. All Falls Down, Ye. College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s, Twisted Dark Fantasy. We unanimously love those records.
In a way though, that's blind yay.
It's so here's my point.
No, I get where you're going. I'm just
in a way that's blind yay because the yay we love, guess what he had to show for it? Fam comes out and says he's $200 and something million in the hole, and he's got 6 records under his belt that we love. All right. You can love me and I can have nothing to show for it. You can hate me and I can be at the forefront of liberating black people for real. But you can hate me. You can and you probably are going to hate me for it. But you start thinking about Obama. A lot of President Obama's critics that I gave a fuck about just so happen to be black. Just gonna point that out.
He's not doing enough for black people.
A lot of Hove's critics.
Not doing enough for black people.
That I give a fuck about, yeah. Or just so happen to be black. Point I'm trying to make is like, and I get shit for this all the time, but it's a genuine thought of like trying to understand that combating the emotional part, we're like really trying to get some shit done. Because these folks who you asking to see to it for your life to matter don't give a fuck about your emotions. We talked about this last week. And you're still approaching it and leading with emotions. Fuck out of here. This is transactional.
That's what I always say, calculations.
This is transactional and you being emotional.
Yeah, because we're looking at it the wrong way. Because when you're talking to people that don't factor in emotions because they don't have to, like they don't. It's just simple as that. They don't have to. So that's the reason why they don't use them. When you're dealing with them, since they have the large share of America as a whole, you have to speak their language. You know what I mean? And their language doesn't, bro. They will damn near feed you their children, bro, for like something for the greater good of themselves.
Facts.
Like they're not looking to go to they're looking to take all their money to the grave with them. You know what I mean? Like that's their visual of like the best thing that could possibly happen is that I get to bury all this shit with me. You know what I mean? So to get a piece of that, you have to speak their language, and it's not meant that that's how you feel. It's meant that they can't see you naturally, so why not make them feel that y'all speak the same language? Simple as that. Even if you have to rattle your people. You know what I mean? Just because they can't see it just yet. Maybe eventually they'll see it. Maybe that comes with experience. But people like Ye, people like Jay, people like Kevin Hart, it's looking behind the veil and seeing how people are actually moving. Yeah. Like how this thing is actually how the gears are actually grinding themselves. Yeah. And once you see that, it's a different ball game. It's completely different, man. And it's something that we, as a whole, cannot fathom. But if a few of us get it, then hey, I'm championing them to continue to do more. You know what I mean? Just keep it lit. However you see fit, and then shit. Hopefully, I get in that room too. But shit, that's how I see it. That's how I see it, man. I'm not about to be out here telling folks that our people ain't shit because they ain't doing nothing for me.
Yeah,
that ain't how I grew up.
Exactly.
Since when?
There's never been this thing of like, do something for me. Nobody's doing. No, Go make your way, and that's not some pull yourself up by the bootstrap shit.
No,
I
no, no,
promise.
no,
It's
no,
not.
no.
It's not
No,
even.
it's more so.
It's not even remotely the same.
Completely.
It's just like that ain't the type of time. That's not the type of time we're on. Because there is no deterring the work.
Mm-hmm.
Doing the work is undefeated, my nigga. Doing the work is undefeated. And the unfortunate part is that it's motherfuckers that skip steps.
That's your infrastructure.
There are motherfuckers that skip steps and try to wrap that shit up and completely contaminate voices being silenced for real. Because there's people that are doing the work and keep hitting these walls and these roadblocks and keep getting locked out of buildings. And there's motherfuckers that are not doing the work that are sweeping themselves up into the people that are doing the work. And that's where it gets weird at. Because we know who working for real and we know who not. You know if you're not working for real. So the nerve of you to hijack the spotlight this way. The nerve. And unfortunately, that conversation can get dismissed because of emotion. But this is transactional. I see people, if we're keeping it a buck, I see predominantly women of color doing extraordinary work. And right now, their commitment, their life commitment to the advancement of their entire group is being undermined by people that they're attempting to liberate. Some unfortunate shit, man. Some really unfortunate shit, because now you get handicapped because you're not supposed to say that. Fuck out of here. There's nothing you could tell me, because I've seen it. Though I've seen the work be undefeated. We was telling Deuce about my early encounters with Dame Lillard. In my entire time in like on that basketball circuit, it's probably like sophomore year high school, junior year high school. You start to calculate on the talent, because by then some of the talent starts to fizzle out. It's all about work. In the process of doing work, a lot of the homies that had some luck collegiately, professionally overseas, and some of the coaches, more importantly, that had infiltrated the NBA, were bringing some of the workouts and stuff back. And you remember this. It's like, yo, put y'all through an NBA workout. So then it becomes, who can make it through that? The only niggas I've ever seen make it all the way through an NBA workout, Dame Lillard, and this is high school, Dame Lillard, and this nigga. The only two people I've ever seen make it through in college, I mean in high school. And you go, oh, all right. So there is a completely different gear. A completely different gear. Brian and them did that show on Showtime, Survivor's Remorse. It's a real thing. It's a real thing where people of color achieve success and are weighed down by the guilt of those who didn't put in a fraction of the work that they put in, who didn't sacrifice the things that they did. I watched you sacrifice some basic teenage shit. just some basic. I watched B Walk sacrifice some basic shit you get to do as a teenager. I'm sorry. And then and I use you and B Walk as the measurements, because, and this, I hope this doesn't sound offensive, but you and B Walk totally were two of the people I could not identify what your other interests were, because you had dedicated so much to hoop. I had no idea you the thing, like now I have a better idea, but then you couldn't. I wouldn't have guessed that shit. Same with B. The things that B's into, his photography is phenomenal. Would have never fucking guessed B was into fucking photography, bro. In literature, the way that you would like, what, nigga? Y'all like books too? I wish I would have, like, what?
No, that's real.
The commitment, and so I use that as an example because of your ability to commit and dedicate to something like that. How transferable that is across the board, and so that's why I say the work is undefeated. And Lex, you had a really good one on your topics. Like, yo, when do you know to give up on your dream? When you're not afraid of no work, and when I was looking at that, I wasn't sure how I was going to answer it because I don't know. And to be honest, it's one of the things that haunts me to this day. But a couple reasons why I'm not afraid of it. I'm no longer afraid of it. When do you know to give up on your dream? But if you're not afraid of the work, it'll never be that hard to acquire a new skill and to compartmentalize the L as a lesson and not a loss. So therefore, you're not giving up.
Completely.
You just reworking. You just retooling some shit. Because giving up means something completely different than just reshaping your approach. And Nip, I just finished the Ross book. The Gucci book is awesome. I'm reading Ben Horowitz's book right now. Salute to that man. God damn, I'm only a quarter of the way through, and that shit has changed so much for me. What you do is who you are. And what all of those completely different methods of thought, completely different roads on their journey, approaches, all kind of shit, all different. What they all have in common is how they compartmentalize L's. Losses versus lessons. Sounds good. It's so fucking hard to do. It is so hard. But to your compartmentalizing point, it's so hard to do. How do we explore these people that have done something to engage or activate our emotions? How do we explore that and take that for what it is versus this real personal attack? Because it's not personal for Donald Trump and his team. And the American people as a whole have personalized it in a way that it isn't for them. How can he get up there and say that? Because it's not no personal shit. It's sinister on a whole nother level. In order to be able to stop motherfuckers like that,
amazing work.
We have to study it.
Amazing work. Sinister is so important. You have to be equally as sinister as these folks.
Listen,
man.
you sick. You sick. I'm sicker.
You have to. You have to play a whole nother game, man. And that's the part that kind of frustrates me in talking to just other black people. It's just the fact that it's 2020 and we've had all these things that have happened to us over the years, and we're still stuck on how we are being treated, and not registering that's factored into the equation already. That when you treat us a certain way, we react a certain way, which then allows them to engage with us a certain way, in order to either extract money from us, or it's either extract or it's going to be siphoned. You have to decide on which one it's going to be. But it's going to be extracted or siphoned.
We getting that up out you.
We getting it up out of you, bro. Like one way or another. Like we either going to stop you from being able to make it, or we're going to take it from you. You know what I mean? Every single time that happens. So to get ahead of that is to we just had this happen, man. And I'll talk about it in the things I don't care for, but the idea that we're still stuck on like people talking to us about like referencing us with certain words. What is that?
That shit is loud. Whatever it is.
Is that is that your bat phone?
Nigga, I hope
you know they got a bat phone, but trying like it ain't ringing.
Sitting in the car straight like this, that phone start ringing. But it's just y'all in the car, fam.
Just stop
That's
it.
your phone.
just stop it. Boy, that backup phone got to shut up. You forgot to put it. You forgot to take the ringer off.
Man.
Oh man. That's why you have to though for the bat phone. There has to be a rule where you only call once or twice. Like choose which one's gonna be, but you better shut it down after that. If I didn't pick up by the second ring, my nigga, you better get up off of it.
No, I don't want to throw nobody under the bus, but it's somebody in the family that we know and love that had the bat phone. This nigga would take the battery out. Oh shit, that used to be so funny. It's like, bro, thinking back on it now. Hey, the block is hot today, y'all. Apologies. Feel like it just adds character though, because I don't know what that is.
That's somebody radio station?
Oh, and it's the phone.
Is it first day of March or something today?
Nigga, I don't know what
Who knows?
that.
Yeah, I'll check.
That's crazy. Close that. Pull that other one right next to it, G.
That's this old man with the wheelchair.
Oh, he clapping on the. Oh, full blast. In the store.
The non-liquor store.
The block is hot. Do you remember what you were saying, G? Do you remember what you were saying? Things you don't care for, but you would like you get back to it.
Oh yeah. So it was just the way that it's communicated to us from people outside of our race when they want to get us riled up. They use specific words, and it's worked all the way up to this point. You know what I mean? Like, we got to get past that damn word, man.
Facts.
But, yeah, go ahead.
No, before we move off the Ye thing, him potentially running for president, again, fuck cares at this point.
Oh, yeah, that video was closed on Sundays. Boy, you got to watch that video.
You got to watch that.
Ye out yonder, bro. Like he got the family out in the mountains, bro. Like he got the you know those 4-wheelers he got.
Yeah.
Just ride down and just open land. Then they break out into like a outdoor church thing, and then you see the vision. You see it like, oh, this nigga got a coat. This shit is impressive because like they all got the Ye outfit on, Yeezys, just out in the middle of nowhere. Having a ball, and then brother's in the middle just standing there, like, yeah, it's me. I'm like, yeah, this is important right
This
here.
is important.
This nigga got power, bro. Like 2020, 2020 is not the one. I think that's gonna be like a joke or whatever. But I think for sure, 4 years from now, if he could pull off this shit for another 4 years,
4 years, yeah,
bro, he will have enough of the market share.
Jeez, what you asked a really good, important question, Lex. In terms of him running, do you remember?
Was it? So who do you think he's really gonna steal votes from?
Yeah.
And you know why that question came to be? Because right after he came out saying he was gonna run, everybody was like, "Oh, see, there you go. He's trying to steal votes from Biden so that way Trump can win." And I was sitting there thinking like, I think he might end up stealing more from Trump than what people think, because he's already shown like, hey, that's the homie. Like Trump has put it out there, hey, he's the homie. So I don't know. That's what made me ask you guys.
Help me understand how people jump to the whole stealing votes thing.
Because when you have the two, because basically you have the two main candidates, right? So you already have the president, and then you have the person that's going to be opposing the president, and then you have this period of time where you could just have anybody put their name on a ballot. Yeah. So when you have just anybody, so sometimes they'll just put a fake name on there. It'll be like Cousin Skeeter, and
or Ross Perot.
Yeah, and people that don't give a fuck about the whole voting process will go in there and just click on that person or whatever. So that you've already lost a vote to give to that person. So basically, if you have a certain amount of people that sees Kanye West on the ballot and they just fuck with Kanye West, or they don't really give a shit about the actual voting process whatsoever, if they lend their vote to Kanye as opposed to Biden, and the people that are going to vote for Trump just votes for Trump, then you're stealing votes from Biden and Trump will win again. Is basically what their thought process is.
That is such a backwards fucking thought process.
That's how they feel.
That is fucking backwards.
It's mainly in the locations that are swing. So like any of like the swing locations that aren't already set up to vote their particular party, then they're the ones that they worry about.
So that's my question. Say he runs. There's no way the Dems, he cannot run as a Democrat. He can't. There's fucking no way he could run as a Democrat. So then that's out.
He has to run as an independent.
You can run independent.
Yeah. Okay.
And at this point in time now, he has to run. Like, if he was to enter in, he has to mark it as independent.
Yeah. So there's that. But then how many of those people that would just show up just to vote for Ye did y'all think was voting in the first place? That's where the whole stealing vote shit becomes goofy to me, because it's like so many people. I'm confused by how many, like, after we just got to see the whole voter suppression, we got to see voter suppression firsthand, and people are still like, I don't know what you're talking about with this white privilege shit and racism.
Completely.
Fam, there are videos of people locking the doors on black people that had to bus across the county because they closed every other voting poll near and around their neighborhood. What are you talking? What are you confused about?
Georgia.
What the fuck are we talking about? And again, back to my original point, it's like, bro, it's hard to care about shit when it's all so blatant. I can't give my energy to just overt sort of like fuck yous like that.
Yeah.
It's taxing.
Well, this is more of this is like the shit that people love to talk about. Like, people love to talk about hypothetical situations. Like, it's not a real thing, but they would love to believe that somehow, some way, if Ye was to get on this particular ballot, with his following, he would be able to take. They're really only talking about the black vote, but he would take the.
Say that, please. Just say that then.
Yeah, nah, dude.
Just say you gonna because at this point they're gonna have to.
This is not the climate to say anything black unless you're saying Black Lives Matter. For people for the people that I'm talking about, they want to say that he's gonna take the black vote, but you cannot say it. You just gotta say.
Okay. So now I'm just glad to know we're on the same page, because what's confusing is that they're gonna will Joe Biden's old ass out there in front of us and try to sell that farce to us.
That nigga gonna die before.
Bruh.
I don't know. I don't wish death on nobody, but
it's hard to watch.
Within his first year, like, I always tell people, look at a president right when they get in the White House, and then look how much they age in 4 years.
Obama stopped wearing his do-rag, fam. Huh? He stopped wearing his do-rag at night. Like,
that's real.
All bets was. He had like, niggas think it's a joke. Fam really had waves when he went in there, and then like it was like, fuck, nope.
Yeah, that's real. He just
fuck all of that.
Just regular ass cuts. just lie me, cuz.
No, he stopped getting the line too. He just let the barber that's in the White House already. He reluctantly was like, "All right, bro, fuck it, just the one."
That nigga stopped buying sporting waves or 360 degrees or whatever.
Lusters.
That nigga just started putting lotion in his hair.
Yeah, bro.
Damn, that's fucked up.
Nah, that's real. Nah, you do age like crazy though.
So,
but Biden going in, I'm pretty sure he'll probably be a president that is only available for speaking engagements. So like, that's the only time that he's actually president.
This country,
and then after that, you have like you have an entire staff that's meant to get him through the weeks. So like, people will just have to come up, just make the decisions for him. He just becomes the vision,
the face. Joe Biden beating the face is mania. That's sick.
Yeah. Did you ever see what was this shit called? Silent. It might have been called Silent Night. But it was the one where where they ended up being like a puppeteer. Like the person figured out how to make human beings into a puppet and like will puppeteer them. So like they thought that they were talking to a person, but really it was like the woman that was next to him that was controlling them, controlling his or whatever. But it's a horror film, but like it's that's the idea that I'm thinking of with Biden is that he's gonna be just a body basically.
And it's fucked up because I was thinking of the movie Dave, where the
Oh,
president
yeah.
had a heart attack, and then they found his lookalike, and they just put him in the house, and then bloop, they were running everything behind.
Shit, and Manchurian Candidate is another one.
Oh yeah.
Mature, yeah, man, that movie is crazy.